So first off, I just want to talk about the major success Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 had. This was their biggest launch ever, and even at its peak player count, had more players than the peaks that all the other chapters had combined. It sold over 100k games within just a few hours, which is genuinely insane and also great because it still shows that people are still very interested in the game, which is a great thing to see. Also, this week it hit 250,000 games sold, which is just insane, and it's great that it's this big of a success. Now let's get into something more interesting. If you look outside of an area in Chapter 5, just after the opening Huggy Chase, you can actually see what seems to be a city in the far distance. Now people have taken a closer look at what this weird place could be, and it definitely seems to resemble a city of some sorts. There was speculation on what this mysterious area could be, and the obvious guess is that this is the location of Chapter 6. Now I'm not doubting this theory, but I think it'll be a little weird if the final chapter of the entire game, if Chapter 6 is the final chapter, took place in an area that had no talk in the other chapters. The labs would have been a great final location because lore-wise, it's where all the experiments were conditioned and made and stuff like that. It may honestly have been a wasted opportunity for the labs not to be the final location, but if they have something bigger in store, I'm all for it. Moving on, I wanted to talk about how Poppy Playtime will continue if Chapter 6 is actually the final chapter. The franchise will definitely not just be over when Poppy Playtime is finished, and I think it's obvious that there will be a lot of spin-offs and ways to expand the franchise. We know the movie is coming out sometime in the future, and that they have talked about reviving Project Playtime, so the possibilities are endless for what they could do with Poppy Playtime. The game is a huge success, and no matter what they do, people will play, and I'm hoping that they don't forget that they are a horror game and keeping the horror vibes in their spin-offs. But speaking of keeping the horror in Poppy Playtime, I actually have some really good news regarding Chapter 6. Mob Entertainment has recently been hiring new positions, these positions being Engineering Director, Game Product Manager, Senior Designer, and a Co-Game Director. This is amazing news because it means Mob is very determined to make Chapter 6 as scary and as good as possible. So now my hopes are even higher, and I'm beyond excited for what Mob has in store. Now I want to get into some of my predictions and hopes for Chapter 6. First of all, I don't know if it's possible, but I do want to get at least one of our Chapter 3 hands back, or a better version of one of them, kind of like how the Conductive hand is an improved green hand. I didn't not like the Chapter 5 hands, I just don't know if I would have willingly traded the purple and flare hand for the new hands we got. The purple hand x the grapple cuffs would have been insane movement to be honest, and would have been really fun to play. But moving on, I think it's possible to actually see Lily Lovebraids make a possible return in Chapter 6, and this is why I think this. At the end of her chase scene, we use the pressure hand on the cloud and she ends up falling and getting crushed by the cloud. You can see her hair under the cloud and she is no longer moving, presumably dead. But if you go to her cutout after the chase and listen to her say, after you press the button and listen to her, if you go back to check on her, she's no longer there. I don't think this is a bug because it just seems too planned out to be one. If it was a bug, that would be really funny, but I just don't think it is. This may be Mob's way of telling us Lily Lovebraids is set to make some sort of return in Chapter 6, and honestly, I'm okay with that. I don't love her as much as a lot of other people do, but I still think she's a cool character nonetheless. My last predictions I want to talk about in this video are Huggy and Kissy. Everyone knows that Huggy and Kissy unfortunately were killed by the prototype at the end of Chapter 5, but I haven't seen a lot of people speculate that they both may not be dead forever. This is what I mean. In case you don't understand how the Poppy Gel in Poppy Playtime works, this is how I'm pretty sure it works. The Poppy Gel can be used to kill, but it can also be used to revive. Proof of this is that we literally died at the end of Chapter 5 when Prototype dropped us in the vat of the gel. We got the death screen pop up and everything, but Giblet was able to revive us with his tool. That tool triggered something in our body that wasn't working to reconstruct, and now we are alive and with seemingly no injuries. This means if the Poppy Gel is used right, it can revive, and I think we could be able to use it on Huggy and Kissy next chapter. But I don't know, these are all just my theories and they could be wrong, but I'm excited for Chapter 6 nonetheless. Thanks so much for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed. Peace.